You might be wondering, which ship should you spam in Hearts of Iron 4? First things first, honestly, in the latest update, the things have kind of changed, so the bigger ships are kind of more cost effective. But they have two main issues. First issue is they are huge, they take forever to build. And the second issue is they are huge, they have terrible range. Most of them at least. So if you want to spam smaller ships, I'm gonna answer which one is the best to spam. Obviously, the only things you can actually spam are the submarines, destroyers, and the newly added midget submarines, because they're small enough to be built quickly. Now to answer the question, you have to know what you actually need. Do you need naval dominance, or do you need just a raw number of vessels? If for some very weird reason you need as many vessels as possible, maybe to meet some requirement, then basically go for the midget submarine, make it have the weakest possible engine and worst torpedo tubes, and you will get a ship that costs only 270 production cost. You'll be able to spam tons of those. However, if you want naval dominance, the answer is a bit more complicated. First things first, midget submarines are terrible for naval dominance, don't spam those. Second thing, if you want to spam something, don't upgrade it. I've calculated it, and the ships with best modules just give you slightly more naval dominance and costs way more. So don't do that. And yes, another thing I should mention. When you got your navy, what you should do is never do convoy raiding or convoy escort. Instead do patrol, naval evasion support or strike force, because those operations give you double the naval dominance that these two do. Also don't go for patrol, because then you're gonna end up in a fight. If you have a weak navy, it's gonna be destroyed. And because it can cover only one strategic region. So always pick strike force or naval invasion support. Probably naval invasion support is the best one. If you're doing no naval invasions at all, your ships are never going to engage, so they're just gonna sit in a naval base and somehow have a naval dominance. So yeah, we got that out of the way. Now, which ship should you spam? So by calculating the values of each ship's naval dominance and then dividing production cost of each ship by that value, I came up with another value, which I'm just gonna call efficiency. And that's basically how much production cost does it take to have 1 unit of naval dominance per each type of ship. So I came to a conclusion, or actually two of them. The newer submarine that you're using, the less cost effective it is. For example, 1944 submarine costs 57.8 production costs just to have 1 unit of naval dominance, while the early 1922 submarine costs only 40.1 for that same unit of naval dominance. And another thing that I've concluded is that it works the opposite way for destroyers. For example, early destroyer with worst possible modules costs 36.9 production cost for 1 unit of naval dominance, while the 1944 destroyer with worst modules costs only 26.63 production cost, for the same value of naval dominance. Now we can basically assume that destroyers are way more cost effective than submarines, and that's true, but there is one small issue, which is literally small, and that's their small terrible range. Even the 1944 destroyer has only 2,500 kilometers range. This is the range of a destroyer if it was in Belgium. Look how terrible it is. It can only reach Bay of Biscay and like a bit of west coast of Ireland. While the 1944 destroyer, which takes years to research, it can just reach barely southern coast of Portugal. It's terrible range. So we got two better alternatives. 1922 submarine hull, or early submarine hull, with just engine 1 and torpedo tubes 1, which is basically the cheapest submarine in the game if you exclude the midget submarines. This bad boy would cost us only 40.1 production per 1 unit of naval dominance, and it will still have a range of 2,500 kilometers. It takes minimal research effort. You just need to research torpedoes and also this hull, and that's it. The second best option, which is my personal favorite, is 1936 submarine hull, with engine 1 and also torpedo tubes 1. This one will cost slightly bit more, and it's gonna cost you 42.6 production cost per 1 unit of naval dominance, so it's about 5% less cost effective than the old one. However, look at this one's range, 4,000 kilometers. Now you might think that these are just arbitrary numbers, they don't matter, but I'm gonna show you the difference. I'm also gonna show you the midget submarine so you see how trash it is. This is the naval range of a midget submarine. Absolute trash. This is the naval range of the early submarine, or the 1922 one. Pretty decent, but still not that great. And this is the range of 1936 submarine. It's way better. So yeah, if you want to spam ships, it's either 1944 destroyer, which takes forever to research, 1922 submarine, which has not so good range, or the 1936 submarine, which is a bit less cost effective, but in my opinion is the best ship to spam in HOI4.